Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Um, Uncharted 4 has finally arrived. I bought it, I've played it, I've completed it, and I thought it would be a good idea for me to give you some thoughts on Uncharted 4 and what my opinion is of the game. I'm a huge fan of the series. I've played all the Uncharteds before on the PlayStation 3, but also when the Nathan Drake collection came out on the PS4, I rebought them. I rebought the remastered versions to relive them again, and I've played them all numerous times. I've played probably two the most, Uncharted 2. But I like them all. I think they're all wonderful, and I think they're amongst the top games that were available on PlayStation 3, and I was really pleased to see them to be remastered and released on the PlayStation 4, and it was a masterstroke really to get us all really excited for Uncharted 4. Not that we weren't excited anyway, because this has been teased and delayed consistently since its announcement, but I'm glad that they did delay the release, because Naughty Dog wanted to get it right, and after The Last of Us, the expectations really were very high on them delivering not just a great Uncharted game, but a great adventure game and PlayStation 4 game, because they are lacking. So let's get started on Uncharted 4. We've talked enough about the old games, the Uncharted 1, 2 and 3, and you can debate on which of those is the best. It's 2. For the first 3, certainly. But they're all great in their own right, and they're all wonderfully enjoyable. But Uncharted 4, it's wonderful because there's an air of familiarity about it when you play it. You know it's an Uncharted game. Nolan North has nailed his character. It feels familiar. It's funny, but it's grown up as well. It's the character's grown up, and they've acknowledged that within the game, and I think they've done excellent in regards to that. You know, some reviews that I've seen have given it a little bit of stick for the early levels. They feel it's a bit too much of a slow burn, but for people that like good storytelling, it won't feel like that. It's superb because they're just gelling out the characters even more, they're fleshing them out even more, and they just feel more real and more human. And it's crossing that genre from game to movie to real life sort of thing, and you do really feel like you're part of something quite special when you play the game, and you really do care about these characters, and Naughty Dog have done a wonderful job of making us care about these characters over a series of games. So what's it about then, Uncharted 4? Well, essentially the game starts, Nathan's living a fairly mundane life. He's working salvage, he's married to Elena, and you know, they're living a fairly quiet life, seemingly so. They even deal with it in an early level where you get to walk around his house, and you know, even get to do a little bit of like a little nerf battle, which is, I quite enjoyed that level, to be honest. But then Nathan's long lost brother Sam turns up, Samuel Drake, who he thought had died, I think 15 years earlier, while they were searching for some treasure. So he thought his brother had been long dead, and he turns up out of the blue and he basically asks for Nathan help to find some treasure, some long lost pirate treasure, and if they don't find it, essentially his brother Sam is going to be killed by some mobster. So that's what gets Nathan inspired to give up and go back to his old ways of treasure hunting. And that works quite well. My only gripe really is the brother Sam, who works well in this game, but he's never mentioned previously in any other game. Even when Nathan was a child in the third one, the young child, there's no mention of his brother Sam. So that gap in the storytelling, I think, didn't work brilliantly for Uncharted 4. So we've talked a little bit now about the game, the setup, the story, things like that. But the most important thing really is how does it look and how does it play? Well, in regards to how it looks, it's simply put the most breathtaking game I think I've ever seen. There's very few that can compare to this graphically. Stunning to look at, and I think Naughty Dog should be applauded for that. It's seamless. It feels sometimes like it really does feel like you're watching real life, but these aren't cutscenes. These are actually parts of the game that you're playing. It looks stunning. Gameplay wise, for those of you who've already played Uncharted games, there's an immediate air of familiarity about the game. It feels very much like the other ones in regards to the mechanics, you know, the climbing, the shooting, all that kind of stuff. But they've added to it and they've perfected it. What they've given us in previous games, they've perfected it. And they've added layers, and you can see that with each game that's gone on. You know, like in Uncharted 3, they really worked hard on the hand-to-hand stuff, and they've taken it again further in this game. You know, the hand-to-hand stuff is really good, and it really feels impactful. And there's loads of different animations. It's not just the same animation over and over again. They've added certain things. You know, they've added air of stealth to some of the levels. When you're taking down some of the enemies, you've got the option to be more stealthy about it, which is again, it adds another layer of complexity to the game. If you wanted to replay it and do it from a stealthy perspective, you could do that for the majority of the battles. But to be honest, it's Uncharted. You know, it's not really the aim of the game. It's just causing chaos and mayhem, isn't it? Really. But it's there if you want to do it. There's so many things that they've added, but there are some things that are a little bit repetitive. You know, there's some sliding stuff. You're sliding on your backside. You know, there's loads of climbing again, which it doesn't really feel like a chore, and like crate pushing and trolley pushing, so you can climb up certain areas, which I suppose it never really becomes too repetitive, but it does get a bit of a drag occasionally. You know, you get a bit fed up of it sometimes. They've really opened up some of the levels where you can do a bit of exploration. It's certainly not open world by any stretch of the imagination, but they've opened up some of the levels so you can explore a little bit more, find treasures, and the game's just so beautiful and pretty that you really want to do it. You want to have a little take your time and wander about. So I like the way they've done that. They've added another layer to the game, but it's kind of a trick really. You still need to get from point A to point B, but they've just kind of opened it up in between for you. The action in the game it's Uncharted. It's what you expect. It's fast paced. It's Indiana Jones style, but it's amazing. There are some set pieces in the game. The one you're watching now, for instance, there's a couple of other really amazing set pieces. And I did find myself a couple of times saying out loud, like, "Oh wow," sort of thing. It did really impress me on occasions, this game. And you do find yourself when you're playing the game almost taking a step back, and you make that realization that this is actually a game that I'm playing and I'm taking part in this. For example, this scene here, it's just so seamless. It feels like what has previously been you've seen in cutscenes in other games, and even the previous Uncharted games. They're not cutscenes anymore. They're actually part of the game, and you do sometimes need to check yourself and realise, oh, I've just done that. That's actually me in the game, and it's not a cutscene. So I think it's fair to say, I think that Naughty Dog have got so much right, and they've absolutely now perfected this format. They've improved it drastically as each game has gone on, and they have just absolutely perfected it now. To what is now bordering on an almost perfect game, and almost perfect game mechanics, for the experience that they're trying to give you in Uncharted. It delivers everything. So, how do I sum up Uncharted 3 then? Where do I start, really? It's amongst the best games I've ever played on any console at any time. It's the perfection of a technique over a number of years, and it's absolutely reached its peak now. This game, is it amongst the best game on the PlayStation 4 on this current generation? I think it's between this and Witcher 3. I think those are the two strongest that I've played so far on PlayStation 4. I've played other good games. There are many good games out there, but I think those two are the absolute front runners. If I had to score this game, I would be giving it a 9 or a 10 out of 10. It is a wonderful experience to play it. Once you've completed, there's replayability value. You can render, buy different renders with coins that you win throughout the game, and different costumes and weapons. But you're going to want to replay it anyway, because the game is just so good and the story is just so good. It's not one that you'll put down and think, that's it, I won't play that again. So I think it's an absolute must buy is Uncharted 4. It's a tremendous game, so please go out and buy it. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching.